Hey all, this is Stephanie with Energy Aligns. Welcome to my Thursday Tarot Insight. I come here as an energetic intuitive. Every Thursday, I pull one tarot card that highlights and harness the collective energy. And then I talk about how we can utilize that energy in our daily lives and some tips and tools into navigating these times. So let's get right into it. So the card I pulled today is the Devil card. Now, this card, sometimes makes people go, oh, because of their associations and affiliations with the devil. But just take a look at this card as we go through. You'll realize it really isn't about our mental associations. We've been trained to connect with the devil. All right, so April 22nd is today into April 29th. 30th, all the way through the rest of April is this card, the energy of this card. So what this card is saying is that our perspectives have to widen. You can see in this card that there are two figures that are chained, but if you look really closely, they can easily slip out of these chains. The chains that are binding us to old structures and old ways, we're only attached to them by choice. Dare I say it? We can choose to slip right out of them. But we have not yet expanded the structure enough. So we have not yet seen evidence of alternatives to trust in, what the alternatives even are yet. So this is a space we're in where we're like, yeah, we can slip right out, but we're not sure what we're going to slip into. We want to feel safe, right? So we'll be in the space for a little while, like at least till in the end of April. So what do we do in the meantime when we're like, well, here you go. As much as possible, respond to life, respond to events, respond to the scariness of not knowing, respond to the confusion of what to do next, respond to the challenges that keep rising up in front of us in our physical reality. Just respond to them as much as possible. And how we respond is by saying these things are not chaining me to anything. I cannot take this so seriously. I cannot look at it. And also, I can look at something else. I can be in fear and pain and restriction and resist. And I can also be in love and lightness and laughter and silliness and mischievousness, because the devilish part of this card is the rule breaking of our structures. The rule breaking is not just for those that created the rules or are creating the rules. The rule breaking is not just for those in power, right? The rule breaking is not just for somebody else to do. The rule breaking is for all of us. Look around right now at the resistance, right? Look at the resistance happening. The people breaking the rules are not just the people in power anymore. We all are making decisions based on what we are seeing. And there is really no right or wrong. There is coming from the heart and coming from a place of desperation. These are real. And so when we make our reactions, like I was saying, our decisions on what to do based on what we are just seeing, feeling, it's very important to tune in to who you are and what is real for you first. We've talked about this in the last couple tarot insights, I think. The rules can be broken. The rules must be broken. And how do we do this and stay in integrity? How do we do this and stay in our consciousness and our conscious awareness? Within every political structure, within every financial structure, within every social structure, and within every spiritual or religious structure, not all we have seen or been shown is the truth, and not all we have seen is right. So it's up to us to tune into ourselves before we make choices that go against the structures that we've had. And We must make choices that go against some of these structures, right? That's what's happening now. So some people will do it against certain structures, and you may do it against something else. They could be big decisions, they could be small decisions, but this is what we're seeing now. The awakening to the fact that these structures are not binding us. You know, like we saw in the last card, the last Tarot Insight, they're not universal laws. We can break and bend them. And we are being asked now to break and bend the rules, because we're being asked and we are being forced into an expansion of awareness and expansion of our perspectives and expansion especially of possibilities. This is super important. The expansion of our possibilities, you know, we can and we must expand. We will be able to on all these different levels, on very personal levels, internal, specific things we are working on individually and externally in the systems and structures that are holding our communities, that hold systems for living, systems for working, systems for creating food, etc., and money, etc., etc., and all the things we can hold new possibilities for these. This card, the Devil, is really breaking and bending the rules where we thought we could not break and bend the rules. But the most important thing to do here now in these times before rules are broken and bent is to check in with your own internal awareness and ask, is this in alignment with me? The Devil says to us, the Devil card says to us that it laughs at us when we confine ourselves to these structures, and it laughs at us and encourages us to break and bend the rules. It cheers us on, it finds humor and joy in all of it, but we get to choose. We get to choose. So the Devil card makes us want to break free, and the Devil actually in this card laughs at us because we've always been free. The Devil in this card says, even the bad is good. It means that it is going to lead us into seeing the reality that we are not confined to one thing. We are not confined to certain structures. These structures are created and, you know, we've made agreements to be in them, but we're not confined by them. We are not even defined by them. And this is the time we're in, the time to break free, to slip away, to start to fall into the void a bit and be super uncomfortable. How do you bring this uncomfortability, this energy down and into your daily lives? Like, who really wants to? You all are probably saying, like, I don't want to see this. And that's what this card is about. Like, I don't want to see it, but we have to see it. We have to bring our awareness here. So how can we bring this Devil card down, the energy of the Devil card down and into our daily lives? How can we flow with it? How can we use this energy? How can we start working with it? So number one, it's time to be okay with being uncomfortable. So what does this really mean? Maybe you are in a specific situation in your life where you just don't know what to do about a relationship, a job, a circumstance that's happening in your life. You just don't know what to do. And maybe you just don't know what to do about the political climate, right? Don't know what to do, are confused. And this card is saying, just be uncomfortable. Because when you sit in the spaciousness of the uncomfortability, the change, the solutions and expansion happen automatically. It's when we resist, when we hold tight, so tightly to the old or to what feels comfortable, even though it's not fitting us anymore, that we start to have even more problems. And these problems come up internally, and then they express themselves externally. So paying attention to where in your life you're feeling uncomfortable and sitting in the uncomfortability of it, sitting in the not knowing yet, right? You just don't know yet. So you're sitting with it for a day, sitting with it for a week, sitting with it for a moment in a conversation, really sitting with it, the uncomfortability, before you react, before you constrict, before you decide to hide in your hole or turn away, before you shut it down, before you cut off the opportunity or cut off the message because it's making you feel bad and uncomfortable. So another way we can drop into this card on a personal, individual level is to start to question things. And you may be already doing this. I know most people are. So we're questioning the structures. Question the structures doesn't mean you have to leave them all behind. And it doesn't mean you have to bash or badmouth the structures. But what it does mean is that you're saying, is this all there is? Is this holding me? Is this real? Does this feel good? Does this feel sustainable? Question the structures that you have been living in that you have not necessarily consciously chosen for yourself. So that's super important because as beings in these bodies and spirits in these bodies, we come down and into these bodies. We choose to be here. Yes, we choose our family. We choose our systems to grow up in and hold us. We choose these on a spiritual level in order for us to find contrast so we can expand and grow. But what I'm saying here is to ask, are these working anymore? We all get to check in with ourselves right now and say, does this work for me on an individual level? And bringing awareness around that, maybe the fact that it doesn't, means that and just bringing awareness around these things. And it doesn't mean that you have to discard everything, like I said, but it does mean that you're bringing space between who you are and what it is you're living inside of and that thing. These structures hold us and they have very specific information for us, or we wouldn't be here. They're very specific energies that support who we are and our growth and our purposes and this life and this time in humanity, this time in the universe, this time energetically. It's all been pulled up for question now because the structures are literally breaking down all around us. So it is time that we, each and every one of you, check in with yourself and say, hey, is this for me? And it's okay if it's not. And the hardest part of all of this is just to ask. It's the scariest part, but this is the time we're in. If you're looking out and you're scared at what you're looking at, look within and take that awareness internally so that you can muster up and build up feelings of empowerment and truth and integrity because you've chosen to look square in the face internally first. So most people are looking outside of themselves and saying, holy shit. Most people are looking outside of themselves and saying, I'm really scared. Everything is breaking down. Most people are looking outside of themselves and being victims to the systems. And it has long been past now that we can no longer stand here as victims of the systems that have been holding us. It is time for us to take personal responsibility on an energetic level for the systems that are in place. And we do this by turning our awareness within so that we can look at our internal structures, our internal responses, our internal vibration, and how it's working with what's going on outside of us. It's time to wake up. It's really time to wake up, people, and it's time to look at ourselves in this way. If we are just looking outside of ourselves, I said this before, for answers, if we were just looking outside of ourselves and responding to the horrors, then we are never going to live in alignment with the truth of who we are. And that is what's going to grow a new way of living, a new way of being, a new world, so to say. So that's what's going to grow new systems that support who we are as people, animals, our humanity, our integrity, ourselves as truth and spirit. That's what's going to support us by internally doing the work and then allowing our responses to come from inside rather than just looking outside. It is truly a time for reflection. So it's time we take a look and to start to be a little bit more tender with ourselves, because when we start to be tender with ourselves internally and create awareness internally, we can then be more tender with what's going on outside and around us. We start to really build up the energy of humanity and who and what we are capable of as humans, you know? If we're just looking without, we aren't seeing the whole story. We're seeing kind of the worst of us right now, at least. And that's not all there is. And if you're watching something like this, a Tarot Insight, if you're working with energy, if you're listening to metaphysical information, you might know, but this is the truth. We must hold space now, energetically. The energy, the vibrations that we want to see in the world, we must hold them internally. And if we keep hold of that, no matter what's happening outside, it will change the vibration of what is happening outside. But we have to practice holding it. If we're just in response all the time to what's happening outside, we're just reflecting back and forth, back and forth. Instead, you know, when we hold the vibration of truth, the truth of us as spirit, then we can laugh, love, break the rules, be in integrity, and just be in response to that. It really is moving from defensiveness to offensiveness. Like, we have the ball. Like, we have the ball. Just remember that it doesn't feel like that if you're only looking at the horrors going on in outside world. But the truth energetically is, we have the ball, we have the information and the ability to hold energy that can affect the entire world, the universe, in positive and sustainable ways for everybody. Okay, so take a last look at the Devil card and notice what you notice, and notice also your feelings when you look at this card or even hear the word the Devil. This is a big major arcana card, and in the Tarot, the major arcana cards are big changes that are going on, and especially now in our collective consciousness, this is, you know, huge shifts that are happening. So I want everybody to be taking care of themselves. If you need support, please reach out to somebody like me. I have free meditations on my website, energyaligns.com. Reach out to a friend, like I've said. You need deeper support, have a therapist, movement, be in nature. Take a break from what you're constantly looking out outside and do some internal awareness. And this could be for 10 minutes in the morning, or 10 minutes in the morning and 10 minutes at night before you go to bed. But where you're closing your eyes, you're potentially grounding, and you're just taking some quiet time to quiet the noise. So when we can quiet the noise and the stimulation coming in, we make space. And making space is where answers, solutions, guidance comes. That's the only way it comes. You can't hear it if you don't make the space and time for it. Okay, everybody, I'm sending lots of love and deep awareness to you all. If you haven't signed up for my newsletter, I'm sending the April one out very soon with another guided meditation. Every month of 2025, I'm sending out a free guided meditation that focuses on one of our energy centers, so we can start to develop awareness about our energetic bodies, our energetic beings. Okay, I'll talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye.